This week on Hexgrid Hangouts, putting the fight in Faster Than Light, I am joined by a member of the Cosmopunks podcast.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Pan. I play Baphomet on the show. Been doing it for about we've been playing for about 2 years. We had the podcast out for about a year, I guess, give or take.
Yeah. Pan, thanks for hanging out with me. Very excited to do this. I put the feelers out there like, hey, anyone want to do it? I got quite a few, and another Starfinder homebrew podcast want to hang out. Fuck yes. You guys are who I want to talk to. I mean, I want to talk to everyone, but it's just so fun for me to like, and I love Starfinder. I love the APs, not dogging them, but folks that, do the extra work to create their own bullshit stories with their own chaotic characters. Just you guys are one of my favorite podcasts. I'm constantly, I know your upload dates. It's a great listen.
Oh, you're too kind.
So I guess before we ramble on about stupid references to Star Wars I want to make in the future, as a spoiler for my players that don't listen to this, tell me about Cosmopunks.
Sure. Well, Cosmopunk is as I mentioned, a Starfinder actually podcast. It's I think we're mostly homebrew. We started with an AP. We started with Against the Throne, which is where the character's intense dislike of the Aslanti come from, and also humans in general, because they're all alien races. So they just don't like humans. I think they've met 2 humans they didn't immediately like try to stab, I guess. There are 4 of them. There's Baphomet, who is an android kobold. She's a mystic. There's Radar, who is a Vlaka. He's a coyote type. We have a thing in our game with homebrew whereby the non-human races also have subtypes. So Radar is like a coyote Vlaka type, which is like a dog person. Ryder is a Isoki. Now the thing about that, the problem with that is that if you look at Ryder, she looks like an otter, like a Bruneri, which is what they got now. But when we started playing, there were no Bruneri. So we were just like, these rat guys look kind of not so great. We just make them an otter, that's fun. We'll just make any small rodent a Yoshoki. And they were like, here's otters. Crap. But we'd already like baked it into the story and everything, so whatever. And then of course there's Fee, who is our Vesk. They are you ever watch the A-Team?
Oh yeah.
All right, think B.A. Baracus, but like also an engineer, also smart. They built the ship.
Okay, so you brought up you didn't know you did it, but you brought up a fun thing that I've noticed. You guys call mechanics engineers. Now, this isn't me like correcting you or whatever, but you guys are all in the UK? And the reason why I thought that, like, does the UK have any like not translation, but like are there different words for a couple things over there? I can't name all of them, but they're like 2 or 3 things that you say, not you specifically, you guys use a term for. Like there's a term for, and like, oh, I wonder if in the UK they don't call them mechanics, they call them engineers or something like that.
So we do actually have mechanics and engineers. The thing is that in real life, V's player is an engineer, which is why they picked, they made V the way they are. Also on the ship, despite their class, their role on the ship is the ship's engineer. So there's a lot of obviously we play the game as the game, but there's a lot of space role play, if you will. And that's how we get to it. We just watched the movie Space Sweepers, a Korean sci-fi.
Yes. Oh man,
it's so good, right?
I thought it was a series, and I'm like, oh cool. When it comes out, I'm going to binge it all in one sitting. And everyone's like, it's only a 2.5-hour movie. I'm like, 2.5 hours, fine. But oh man, that was so good. And it's like, if you're a Starfinder fan, like that is, I mean, I can't write that good. But that the splash of that, it's just a beautiful film, and I know
if you do love Starfinder and you're listening, you should watch it. Absolutely. I mean, it's Korean. There is an English dub, which is fine. It's good, but it's well worth the watch. And one thing that we were laughing about is the engineer, or the ship engineer rather, in Space Sweepers, like that. The topless guy who's like pulling on like fire and stuff, and we were like, that's what he does. Like that's basically me.
That's
Apart from being good in the
perfect.
fight, that's
Yeah.
that was don't kill me, RJ. But yeah, apart from being good in the fight, that was it.
And I'll take it a step further. I think Space Sweepers is a better representation of Starfinder than Firefly is. And I know Firefly gets a lot of like, oh, it's Firefly.
Hmm.
Like Space Sweepers, like these folks, and there's a little more weirdness to it, which I love. So yeah, I'm so glad other people are watching that too.
Oh
I'm hyped
yeah.
about it.
Absolutely. Get on Netflix, watch Space Sweepers, and then tweet Don at Hex Heroes and tell how good it
Please
was.
do. Yeah, please do. Yeah, you will not be disappointed. I hope people at this point can like deal with subtitles. Like, I think we've reached a place in the culture where subtitles aren't the thing people like.
No.
Oh, that's for old people. I
If you're gonna,
have.
I was
But
gonna say, if you're gonna let some words at the bottom of the screen stop you from
yeah,
getting a really good story, then you don't deserve it, basically.
yeah. So, Cosmopunks, you started out doing the Aslanti against the Iron Throne, Aeon Throne.
Yeah, the Aeon Throne. But then we got to a point where we met a Starfinder who was like, "Hey, we want you guys to help out." It's during the Escape from the Prison Moon part,
Mhm.
and we just didn't like we didn't like them as characters. We were just like, "Oh, you're just like a square and do stuff." No, so we were like, "Look, we'll do it because that's the right thing to do. We're not joining the Starfinders." And then yeah, we breezed out. We just left them to it.
That's
So
awesome.
we're not a part of the Starfinder Society or the Starfinders in canon. We're
Mhm.
just a bunch of mercs. Our morals are well, I say our morals are grey. The crew is made up of well, actually no, it's pretty grey. Now I think about it. Yeah, yeah, we're pretty grey. Even as Bath, who is mostly a nice character, she's
Mhm.
got big Miss Piggy energy.
That's perfect. Yes, that's absolutely.
Yeah, so like most of the time she's lovely, but she's got a mean streak.
Yep. That's awesome. I've never heard someone describe their own character as Miss Piggy. It's usually as an
Oh
insult, but no, Miss
yeah.
Piggy, that's they got power, they will fucking wield it.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
I watched
cross
Muppet Show.
Bath, you will pay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun 'cause I love Miss Piggy as a character, even down
Yeah.
to like Miss Piggy's like constant changing outfits.
Mhm.
Like me personally, I love clothes, so
Oh,
I
you
gotta
know
make
what?
Bath change all the time. And then I
That's
watched the Muppet Show, and I was like, oh yeah, Miss Piggy does that too.
That's exactly right. Yeah, Baff. Yeah, one of the fun I love that flavor you bring to the pot. It's like you and Ryder does it. No, Radar does it a little bit as well. Ty, right? Ty does Radar. No, Radar, the
Oh, you
character.
broke up there. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. So, is it Ty that plays Radar?
Yeah, Thai plays radar.
Yeah. So Ty will do that with Radar. They'll like describe the outfit you're wearing, and I mean, they don't have many chances for outfit changes so much in this, but like listening to that and having you guys, voice that, I'm like, that's I straight up lift it from you guys. I'll ask them, what is it they're wearing? It's you were talking. I think we weren't recording just yet, but when I had the little bastard kid, not bastard kids, when the kids were swarming two of my players, I made sure to touch on, oh, Lemon, your priest robes are dirty from the mud. Like I'm not even ashamed.
No, that all helps, like to like ground the character because you
Hmm.
can see a person and just have a quick glance at them and go, I got a general idea. If I see a guy in a suit looking, real fancy suit, I'm like, well, I got a general idea of what that guy's about.
Yeah.
So, you can come and say like, I'm wearing armor, and it's like, okay, is it
Yep.
bulky armor? Is it slender armor? Do you look like some kind of like elven warrior? What's the deal? What
Exactly.
do I get from
Yes.
seeing you?
Yeah, and I straight up have lifted that from you because when you guys do, I'm like, oh shit, I need to focus on that a little bit more
Dude,
because
do it.
I
I
was
will do
guilty.
a
Like,
fashion show. Let's do it.
yes. Oh, you know what? I'm writing that down. Maybe they want to
Yeah,
do a fashion show.
fashion show.
Yeah. So, you guys have. I've been listening as soon as I found you guys, but I am curious about the names. Cosmo, what is it? Just Starpunks?
Well, that's the thing. Originally, we were looking for a name. I think
Mhm.
we came up with a couple. We came up with Brace for Impact was the first one. That was one that Sai came
Ooh.
up with. Sai, who plays Ryder, by the way.
Mhm.
I know it gets confusing because Ryder and Radar and Radar's name is
Yep, I was
Radar.
gonna get to that too.
I know. I didn't name them. As
No,
far as
that's
I'm aware, the canon is that Ryder and V gave Radar his cyborg parts, and then he took on her name. I guess I'm not really sure. It's never really come up.
okay.
But sorry, what's the question?
The name Cosmopunks, because when I first listened to you, you guys were Leica 7, and I'm like, oh, that's a badass fucking that's a sci-fi name. That's a show that you're like the Leica 7, the Adventures of the Leica 7. Like, fuck yeah. But then sometime after that, you switched to Cosmopunks.
Yes. So we started with the Leica 7 because that's just the name of the ship, the Leica 7.
Yep.
And we couldn't think of anything better than that. But it sounded cool. It did sound really cool, which is why that's the tagline.
Yep.
But we eventually were like, well, we want to have something that sounds a bit more Starfinder-y, because a lot of D&D shows will have like Roll 4X or
Yes.
Doom 20 or whatever. So we're like, we want something that people hear and go, oh, that's like a space thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we went for a few names: Brace for Impact, Star. I think it was Starpunks. And then we're like, no, it's too on the nose. So we went with Cosmic, and then Cosmopunk came up because there's a kind of the guys like to put in like kind of Soviet space esque vibe on things. So it just came out there, and punk because like the crew are dysfunctional at best. So we just took it from there.
Awesome. Yeah, and so when I like Cosmopunks, I'm like, they sound UK Britishy. I don't know if any of them are Russian, but that's where my mind first went to Cosmopunk. I'm like, oh, I was thinking, I thought you were rebranding to be with Russian accents.
Yeah, only podcasting Russian. You'll find in episode 25, we just all switched to Russian. It's actually very, very interesting.
It's done great for your ratings. There's a lot of
the
Russian market surprisingly was just waiting for a Starfinder pod.
They just love Starfinder in Russia. Weird.
So you started out with the Aslanti, then doing your own thing. You guys, I was just listening because I wanted to double check to make sure which of you I was speaking with. And your Twitter handle, like that's not your name. I know, but I was listening. So you're in the Until Proven Innocent arc. You've done a couple arcs. I guess this will come out, and I strongly suggest everyone go back and listen to the first one of your guys' podcast, because that story, like you had the kind of story before the recording. So when you guys start the show itself, like there's no like, I don't know you. Why would I go with you? Why would I travel with you? It was like, we've already had adventures. In the first episode, you're shitting on the Aslanti, figuratively. And like you're already an established group. So like right off the back with Hydrophobia, you are in it, which I fucking love.
We really appreciate that. Cypher actually wrote and GM'd, Cypher who plays wrote and GM'd Hydrophobia, and it was a great idea to start it off with the character having a party, because rather than being like these are adventurers, it was just like these are just some guys who live together and get into trouble a lot. So we had that one there. Hydrophobia is a great story, a great like entry as well, because it's only 3 episodes. It's very compact. And it gets spooky. It gets pretty spooky if you like it. Spooky.
It did. It ended so abruptly, like the episode 4 when Engines of Hatred starts. I'm like where it ended, like it was. I could tell it was an ending, but like holy shit, these guys aren't holding back. They're not pussyfooting around. They are like. So I guess I'll go back to that. How long have you and the guys been playing?
Geez. You mean in general, like all TTRPGs?
Just in general. Yeah. When did you get your start in tabletop games? What got you into the geek shit? Even we can dig into this. This is your your chat.
Well, I've been to geek shit my whole life. My whole family is massively geeky. My sister is named after Storm from the X-Men, which she hates because she's the only one who's not geeky.
Oh no.
She hates it. She just uses her own name. But no, I've always been into stuff. I hadn't played any tabletop until about 2-3 years ago, but I listened to podcasts. I actually got into it because it's on YouTube like years ago, and there was a show called The Gamers. Old movies, put the whole thing up on YouTube, and it was it was like a fun, like real early 2000s-esque 3.5 I think they were playing. And I was like, that looks pretty fun. I wish I had friends to do that with. Oh well. So I just listened to podcasts instead of pretending I had friends.
Yeah, that's what I do. And I just roped you guys into coming onto my show, so it feels like I have more friends.
There you go.
So now it's the key to getting over my deep-seated anxiety about being friendless.
Yep,
You know,
thank you. Same,
give them
same.
something. Yeah.
We're buddies now. You and me, we're
Yeah,
buddies
right
now.
on.
That's it. We're bros.
Cool. Right on. All right, I'm gonna write this down. Made a friend.
Yeah, we are. But
So what
oh,
got you to meet the others then?
so originally I'd been playing. No, I played I played one game of D&D at Christmas at a friend's house, and I was hooked.
Mhm.
So I was talking to our old GM, who we fell out with, unfortunately, but they were talking about how they want to try a thing. So I said, "Oh well, I can rope some guys in because if there's one thing I'm good at, it's yelling at people." So I got them in. I was like, "Hey, this person wants to try out this new game. You guys like adventure and stuff? We'll try it." We did it, and it was a good vibe.
Good.
We played a few more games together, and then there was a schism, unfortunately, and the old GM left. And then we carried on from there. And at that point, we started doing homebrew stuff, and that's when we were like, "Oh, we think we're pretty funny, I guess." Because the podcast actually grew out of the fact that I don't take notes. I am awful for notes. I am that person at the table who will go. I'll have a whole conversation with your NPC and then go, "What was their name again?" Because I'm just bad. I'm really sorry. I apologize to all my GMs. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just don't take notes. So I just recorded all the sessions instead, so I could listen back to them.
Mm-hmm.
Then one day, I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna put sound effects on this for a laugh," and we were all amazed at how decent it sounded after a bit of editing and such.
And so the four of you, yeah, there's four. Okay, I was just looking at the art, and the the kobold's tail made me
Must
think
say
that there
one
was
thing
another
though.
person.
I have to
Yeah.
apologize to everybody for the last episode of Hydrophobia, because as we mentioned on one of our Q&As,
Mm-hmm.
while we were playing, I was listening to the soundtrack to Star Trek because it went really well with the scene. I was like, "Wow, this sounds awesome! I can't wait."
Yeah.
Didn't realize it had recorded into the audio. We couldn't use it.
Yeah.
So if the last episode of Hydrophobia sounded a little choppy, I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't know. I don't do it anymore. I apologize.
You were caught up in the moment. I don't
I
think
was
any of us can.
excited.
It happens. Which Star Trek song was playing?
Oh, they told me. Like I said, I don't take notes. It wasn't Into Darkness.
Oh no. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, you said crap.
Yeah, it was beyond. Found out there's the ship like falling off a cliff or something.
Yeah, it was Sabotage, wasn't it? Weren't you legit
No,
listening to?
no, they would have skinned me alive. I played Sabotage. No, it was just like one of the instrumental parts from the actual like.
Oh,
proper.
okay.
Oh, can
All right.
you imagine? Hey guys, 1 second before you start, I've got to play Sabotage. Bam.
Yeah. Well, you're in the UK. You may be protected a little bit, but I'm like, I was hesitant to even use the Wilhelm scream at points because I was like, oh, are we just going to get, because Disney owns Star Wars now, and Disney or Star Wars does Wilhelm scream, is like Disney going to fucking shut us down? And I did it, and I was like, I'll just, if it gets put down, I can cut it out. It's no big deal. But they didn't. I'm like, okay, Wilhelm scream, free game.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that goes to my Wilhelm scream, everyone goes, "Oh, Wilhelm scream," so everyone gets a little like point.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, we actually have about like 2 minutes with the Rude Sandstorm in episode 1, and nobody ever bothers us about it. So maybe I can get away with it.
Right on. They're not paying attention. They're too busy literally raking in money to pay attention to to some Russian podcast. They don't care. So you get together, you get started, and one of the things that you all make a point to make clear in the episodes is you all share editing responsibility. So I'm curious, what's your system like with that?
Whoever gets yelled at.
Okay.
No. So normally, I'll do the clean cuts of the episodes, and then I'll hand them over to Cypher or RJ, and they'll do it from there. So it's the three of us like kind of take turns on it, and so it has to be like, for example, sometimes because we use Craig as well, but sometimes Craig, misses a little bit of audio. Yeah, right. Thank you. So sometimes we have to like re-record our lines, which can be a bit of a boner because it doesn't sound quite as good. But it's better to hear it sounding a little bit less authentic than not hear it at all, I find.
Yeah. Yep.
But I don't like re-recording like full wax stuff because again I like situational moments.
It's organic. Yeah, when you're just parroting it all back for the record, like it definitely loses some of the heart behind some of it, and your show just never fucking stops with the action. So there's not like a dull like, all right, so here's the door. like it's constantly on is another thing I'll say about you guys. So I can imagine having like, okay, now I need you at a 3 to immediately go to an 8 and say there's a bomb. Like that's got to be so frustrating. And we're in an actual play kind of hobby, whereas if if we were all doing audio dramas, I
Hmm.
could probably swallow it a little better. I've just had to what I do now, and I just had to do it in this current episode. In the initiative, we rolled initiative, and everyone's just like having fun, just joking around with numbers. And I'm like, okay, we need to get this fucking show on
Oh,
the
oh
road.
my God,
So,
yes.
so I cut the initiative, and then I'm like, hey, it's Don. Here's the initiative, and we're just gonna get back into it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
like, just and Craig was kind of breaking up with that too. I'm like, I've taken to like, if there's a big segment, I'll just cut it if I have to, and then just here's a disclaimer. Here's what happened. Craig, you're very versatile, but you suck sometimes. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
difficult. That's
I
I
will
definitely feel for you.
I recommend that there's a companion a companion bot to Craig called Geark, which will basically hold a backup of anything Craig's doing. So that saved our asses a lot
Oh, okay.
in the. So I recommend grabbing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have seen. I'm in your Discord, and I have seen. I was like,
Okay.
oh, it's Craig backwards, and I'm like, I didn't know why you had two Craig bots going at the same time, but if it helps, man. I can't
Yeah, I
fault
mean
that. I'll
sometimes
have to check that out.
like a big scene, and then you'll hear like a didn't, but you won't notice until you go, wait, where's Craig? Oh no! So having Geark really helped us out.
Yep. So you share the editing responsibility, but you also share the GMing responsibility. Oh crap. One of you did Hydrophobia, then Engines of Hatred, and now you're on Until Proven Innocent. Uh,
Mhm.
what's is it just like, oh, we'll go until I feel the story's done, or do you how involved is the organization process for you guys to like, okay, I want in, or I want to stop GMing? Do you have any of that going on?
No, everyone. I mean, so far, but believe me, eventually there'll be times when people go, "Hey guys, I'm sick of your faces, and I'm going to the adventure's over. I'm
Yeah.
leaving." But no, for the most part, it's a case of people have like, for example, my story coming up, which I guess I can give you guys a teaser. It's going to be called "Come Again." That's my one coming up,
Hmm.
uh, and it's basically you kind of just like write out the story beats,
Hmm.
and then you play through that. A lot of the times we go overtime. I know that Engines of Hatred is 10 episodes, but it was really like lined up to about 7. But we had so much stuff in between, lots of stuff that we do as you know how it is. Um,
Yeah.
you take detours and silent things and so on.
Hmm.
And Until Proven Innocent, because RJ gave us a whole city to wander around in, takes a lot of detours. We spent a lot of time discussing noodle bars and going shopping.
The important stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Fair enough. No, that's good. And in these pandemic times, you're all recording remotely. How are you guys doing with that? You guys, because I don't recall, because you have a bit of a backlog, don't you?
Yeah, oh
Like
yeah,
where
yeah.
we're at in the release, I don't know if it was you that said, or someone from your pod said, like you're like 2 campaigns ahead of where, or 2 arcs, I guess, of
Yeah.
where we're at in release schedule.
So we are currently in Until Innocent. There's actually I should probably also give a shout out to the next story coming up.
Hmm.
It's I can't say the names. Who's gonna stop me? The guys aren't here. They can't do anything about it.
Yeah, they can't do shit. And if you get flack later and telling them, I can bleep it out.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'll file them. It's okay. But yeah, the next one is called Chemical Divinity, which comes after Until Proven Innocent. It was written by Urban Dragon from Twitter for us. Actually, it was really cool. Like he just messaged us one day and was like, "I love the show. Could I write a story for you guys?"
Oh,
Yeah. So we're like, "Oh, sure, absolutely." And he did. He couldn't run it, so we got a buddy of ours named Zuki, and he ran it for us. So I want to give a shout out to those guys. Thank you for that.
yeah, dope.
Uh,
That's fucking. God, I wish I found someone to do the writing for me.
yeah, believe me, it was nice.
That's dope. I love that.
The
And
only
then
problem
as
was,
the GM, whoever GM, like, look, man, I didn't write this.
yeah, because it was written for 4 of us. We're like, wow, thanks. And then we're like, wait, this is written for the 4 characters in one. We need a buddy to run it for us.
Yep.
But like, there are Oh wait, let me go back to what I was saying. So there's
Mhm.
that Chemical Minty. Then after that, there is Glitch, which is written and run by Fringe, who is I can't remember his Twitter name. Well, his name's Fringe.
That is his
And
name.
he's running that for us. Another one.
Dope.
Yeah. He did that, and then after that, it goes into mine.
Cool.
The funny thing is that there actually is. I did a story before called Crash the Party, which unfortunately the recording just this is before we figure out how Craig works or anything, so it just sucked. So we couldn't release it. I might check it on the Patreon sometime.
Yeah.
With an apology, I'm sorry, I'm bad at recording.
That sounds good. And also, not to fluff myself up, I am a member of your Patreon. I'm constantly like I am all in on your guys'
Dude, well, I
pod.
can't tell how much I appreciate it.
Oh no,
I
it's
cannot
my
get
pleasure.
enough how much I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Dude. It is like when we started this, we were just dicking around, and then the more we got into it, because if you listen, the Foley work from like Hydrophobia 1 compared to
Yes.
some of the stuff now is just like the guys have taken to this stuff with aplomb. I am hugely proud of them. They're so good. Like I look at they send me through the finalized Audacity files. I'm like, what the hell? How did you do this? So I don't understand. I just cut out like sneezes. That's my job.
We all have our role, and Pan stays away from the soundboard.
Yeah,
Fair.
absolutely.
It's good. No, that's I love that how like how much of a group effort it is too, because I love my players, and I don't know if I have the gall to even ask them to help me edit it, but like I do all of it, and I'm fine to do it. I don't think at this point I've been doing it for a bit, and like I don't know if it'd be a fun experiment temporarily, like, hey, someone else edit it, and I listen to it and I hate it, but just
Yeah.
that you but that you all like can work together and get it all out to get like that's fucking I love that. I love
Dude,
how
you bang it out though, man. Your stuff's put out there. It's smooth. I like listening to Hector. It's good stuff.
thanks. Awesome. And if you've gotten this far, good. That's awesome. I didn't have like pre-written notes or pre-written questions, but something I did want to talk
Oh,
about. Yeah, so and if it's something like you're not keen on chatting about, that's fine. I can cut this out and move on to something else. But uh the furry stuff. Like
Hmm.
you guys, I don't know, some of you seem to present as furries. Like I'm trying to find a diplomatic way of saying if some of you are or aren't. And
no, it's fine. No, we're all furs actually.
Okay.
It's I don't mind. I've always found that for the fandom, it's what you make it. It's who you hang out with. There's
Exactly.
it gets a bad vibe sometimes, but for me, it's like everybody's got a bad vibe. Every group has
You
bad
know
actors.
shit. Yeah.
So if you want to, for example, in tabletop, if you want to hang out with only with like snooty 3.5 bros only at the table guys, then okay, that's your jam. I don't want that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine for you. And the same way for us, like if you want to hang out with like those guys, that's cool too. You do your thing. It's not for me. So
no, part of the reason I ask is my girlfriend is a furry. She's got the full suit. She spent $4,000 on it.
Yeah,
She does conventions. She's been handlers. She does like I can link it later. But she's like all in. And when I started dating her, I'm like, oh, a furry. and and I can trace to the exact moment when I thought furries were bad was there's a real shitty episode of CSI here in America. Took place in
no.
yeah. Oh, you knew? Okay, so I thought I always feel like it's like people don't can't pinpoint it. I watch too much TV, but like there's that episode where like they talk about it and they're just fucking blasting it, and I'm like hearing it and they're like, oh, they're latex lines so you can fuck in them, and so it's a terrible disservice to cosplay. I mean, like
it really is.
to me, but like the furry fandom, like there's I don't have my camera on because I'm not wearing a shirt, but there's the level of the amount of right on the amount of art my girlfriend's had done on her persona. It's all behind me. It's on the wall. She has 24. I could take a picture if you're interested. She's got just tons of like little 3x5 size different art from different artists. Like it's a thrumming fucking endeavor. It's cosplay with a bunch of extra cool steps, And so when you guys talk about it in the pod or mention it, I'm like, oh, dope. And then like as I've gotten more spread out into the community, like, oh, there's quite a few furries. Just like it's nothing to be ashamed of.
But there is
But
some overlap with the tabletop community and the furry community, because at the end of the day, it's all playing a character.
exactly, that's exactly what I was getting to, and I love that like there's no like weird shame, there's no like it's just like this is what it is. And it's over the years that I've been with my girlfriend, like it opened me up to what it is, who's in it, and there are some terrible fucking people in it. But then just in the last week or so, we've seen some terrible fucking people in the TTRPG community. So like no one can be throwing stones at anybody. It just like cracks me, it not cracks me up, it just makes me smile when like, oh, I've learned so much from her that introduced me to it. I have no interest or funds because I'm a podcaster to go through all the work she did, but it's like it's such a neat, fascinating culture to kind of observe from where I'm at.
It's also because the culture it's full of creatives. It's one of the reasons why we have so much art of the characters. We're all we're all artists. We've all got artist friends, fans of the show. Obviously, well, not all of them, but a lot of them can draw and such. So it's great to get like some fun stuff. And I mean, it's been really good. It's been really fun. It is literally just having a character that you can play and dress up, for me anyway, and dress up in nice clothes. From playing an orc or an Azamar.
Yeah, it's awful in the summer times. Tabitha, my girlfriend, has come back from from a meet, and she's just looked like she was an astronaut, just soaked with sweat, just heat exhaustion. Stay hydrated, folks. Just to all hobbyists out there, no matter what your medium, drink some water. That's my PSA for the day.
If I can make one point though, going into some stuff, I've watched a few. I'm not really one for streaming, like face streaming during games, but I've watched a few now. And people who dress up as their characters and stuff for their shows, great work, guys. Like,
yes,
it's a very similar kind of vibe, and I'm always here for it. Pushing your creativity, not just for your character, but through bringing them fully to life in yourself. Yep. Great stuff.
Yeah, same. I very much prefer my audio presence to my physical one. I'm no Quasimodo, but like still, like, you mean I did one of these chats with the camera on for a while, and like I saw myself like forcing my face to make like interesting facing. Like I caught myself. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna turn off the cameras and we're just gonna talk. I don't need to. I'm not Conan O'Brien. I don't need to wiggle my fucking eyebrows. I'm just here to have the conversation and play the games.
The thing is, I'm terrible because when I'm in character, it's Baphomet is all hand movements, lots of hand movements, lots of airy movements. So doing that to a camera while my buddies are like all just sitting around there in their shirts and stuff, is daft. Plus, I feel like if I wanted to get properly into it, I have to do the whole makeup and stuff. I couldn't just like be like, it's just me and I didn't shave. I have to, I have to shave and draw makeup and wear a nice outfit and things.
Yep.
Only then could I truly become Baphomet.
What else do I have for you? So you're fucking nailing the podcast game. You got the Patreon going. You got Discord. I see, and I'll link all this. You seem to be having offline games as well. With I don't know, what the organization's like over there as far as what you do, but you guys have a thrumming little community over there, and it's real fucking cool to see other people appreciating. Like when you drop an episode. I listen. I work overnights, so I listen. Like when people drop it, like, oh, I do it too. I drop mine on midnight on the day that it drops, and people are like, they wake up at whenever they wake up, and if it's a podcast I dig, like you guys, I'm either in the Discord or on the Twitter. Christ, I'm. I'm gonna cut the out because that made me feel old. So, like, I've already listened to it. They're just starting their day, and I'm like, I like this part and the fucking snake.
Oh man,
Bob.
we can talk about Bob now actually because
Oh yeah.
Bob's been revealed. You know what's great is that the guys, Archer was the GM, of course, but Cypher and Ty, Ryder and Radar love that stupid snake. They love that snake, and even before the reveal, I was like, I don't like this snake. This is creepy. Or rather, baffled. I thought it was a cute idea, but Baff as a character was like, well, this is weird, right? This is owned by somebody. That's weird. So
There was a bit where like you're owned, like you're not your own. Like there was the whole thing about like I don't know if the word was used, but like self-actualization. Like, oh, you just own this thing, and I love that. Like these two are like, oh, look at the cute pet thing. It's shiny, cool toy thing, and Beth is like, I don't know.
Yeah, like
and it paid off.
Autonomy or anything. You're not your own person.
Autonomy, that's the word. Yes.
And it's like, no, I'm a snake. I'm called Bob. I'm owned by this guy. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's okay.
Fucking Bob.
The best part is I think it had another name originally, and RJ either didn't come up with it fast enough or didn't mention it. But the second the guys were like, call it Bob, they're like, fuck, it's Bob now, fine. It's Bob the Snake.
Yep. So you have arcs already like in the can, ready to be edited and posted or whatever.
One of the good things is we're doing a show for our Patreon, which is called.
Oh, and it looks like Craig kind of dropped the ball there. So the Cosmopunk podcast does a drift sessions for their Patreon subscribers, where they talk about stuff that happened behind the scenes, sort of thing, and we then get back into that conversation right now.
Stuff in there. For example, in boss fight, I didn't mean to talk. I didn't know I could talk my way out of it. I thought you might change something up. You're like, no, it was great. I'm like, I feel like I just robbed everybody of a fight.
That's dope.
But no, we meet the creature. We talk it down, and it goes, okay, here's your stuff. Goodbye. We're like, all right, bye. That was it. So he had a whole plan for a boss fight that we just never did.
Oh, that's dope. I fucking love that shit. I'm looking forward to listening to it.
Screen
yeah, no, that's great. I'm not gonna rip it off, but I like to do that like as in a session. Like when I do stuff, like I did a thing like I just mentioned a couple minutes ago that I cast suggestion on everyone, and then like I'm starting to talk about it, and you can't do this and you can't do that, and then I thought, hey guys, real quick, I don't use this stuff very often, so if it seems like I'm being overly cautious, it's because I don't want to be like the fuckheads that do terrible shit to people about their player agency. And I love the transparency that you guys bring to it. Like, hey, this is exactly where we're coming from this. So that's dope. I'm so excited.
Thank you. I'm not gonna listen. I stole it from another podcast, so you can take it from us. I don't even mind. That's fine. In fact, I love it because that way I get to listen to the things that you're telling me now as well.
Okay,
as much as I love playing the game and stuff, I really enjoy knowing more about the people and the decisions and the reasons behind it all, because it brings me closer to the players as well as the characters. Like I love characters in lots of shows, but I'm always just like, why would they do that? And sometimes the player will say something like, that makes sense. For example, Baphomet doesn't like the snake being owned because she herself is synthetic and therefore she thinks it's weird.
I actually have a question about Bath. So last arc for me was Engines of Hatred.
Yeah.
Make sure I got the name right. You had the whole V'ger thing going on. Right? I don't have that fucked up, right? Bath had that.
V'ger?
You said Star Trek soundtrack. I thought V'ger. V'ger was the Voyager probe from Star Trek, the motion picture that came back and was this gigantic world entity sort of thing. But
no, I don't know that.
Kind of fall flat. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. But like that, like long-lasting things. I'm curious, since you each take turns. Going in like, oh, Bath has this ability. Oh wait, no, I think Bath got rid of it, didn't she?
Which one? The ability to control the battle station?
Yeah.
Yeah, she got locked out.
That's right. Okay. Now okay. So people that haven't listened, I'm giving some stuff away. They survive. But I love that because you share GMing responsibility. Is there like conversations like, oh, Bath has this ability to control this battle station? And whoever's in line to GM next, like, the fuck they are. They can't do that in my arc. Do you have conversations like production meetings?
Yeah, we have conversations.
Cool.
We've come had arguments from people like, because I'm not an engineer, but I am. I
Mhm.
know how stories work. So when people are like, the ship can do X, I'm like, I don't think a fantasy spaceship should be able to do that. That doesn't make any sense. Stuff
Yeah.
like that. We usually sit down and talk it out, and then we say, okay, well, in an upcoming plot, I want to talk back. I want that. I want to allude back to this thing that happened. Do you have any plans with that? And you don't have to give anything away. You just say, yeah, so don't destroy it, for example.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Just great conversation and communication in your group, and like you were saying, you like to hear stuff. I love knowing that about you. I love knowing that, you know, it's not just like I've listened to, I've been in games and I've listened to podcasts where like it's clearly the GM's power trip story and the players
Yeah,
are
yeah.
some of the pawns along the way. And when I hear like folks like you talk about, we had these conversations, we work things out. It's nice to like bring it. You're right. It brings it to life.
And don't get me wrong, like we're all friends, but we have searing arguments. But it's a right room kind of thing. We're like,
Yeah.
no, you can't do this. It doesn't make any sense because of this thing we mentioned 15 months ago. You gotta change it. Like
Excellent.
I'm a real sucker for continuity.
Mhm.
Um, the way I think, oh God, this sounds really up my own ass, but the way I think I see our separate adventures is MCU style. Like you can watch Ant-Man and that's just a story, and
Yeah.
then this guy turns up, and you can watch Captain America, that's just a story and whatever. But if you put them all together, there are things that show up in one thing that will impact something far down the line. And again, we'll have a conversation about it. For example, we have a robot butler, which was originally a killbot, which we beat it during the Aeon Throne storyline. But then Baphomet wanted a butler. So the guys were like, we're going to turn this thing into our personal robot killbot thing. And she said, no, I want a butler. I'm sick of having to do all my own stuff around here. So make me a butler. So they removed all the weaponry, removed it had a small nuclear charge so it could self-destruct. Remove that as well. And we put a bow tie on it. So it still tries to self-destruct every now and then, and it hates us. It really hates us. But it can't disobey, so it just works in the bar for us now.
Wow, and you worry about autonomy, and you have this self-destructive kill bot, and you've neutered it.
We wanted to blow up our bar.
You know what? Fair play right there. That's about really all I have. I didn't have like bullet point notes.
I enjoyed the show.
Cool. So Pan, and so actually, I guess I could ask about that. Like, I think on social media you were going Pan/Dan. Do you have? Do you just have like pushback about the Pan name or something, or is there like, I don't know. That's not a really interesting question to ask. It's just something
It's always one of the things where it's like my furry name is Pan, and my actual name is Dan. So it's not a huge amount of difference.
Okay.
So it doesn't make a difference.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, everyone check out Cosmopunks wherever you get podcasts.
Oh, I was just saying, because we all knew each other for the fandom, we just got into the habit of calling each other by our fandom names.
Mhm.
But we all know each other as guys in real life, so it's fine.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to wrap this up. Go watch actually, it's not, in the next month when you guys hear this, I'm about to watch the WandaVision finale. But I'm looking forward to seeing the adventures of the Leica 7.
Please do. And you know what? I'd love to maybe do something like some kind of crossover sometime. That'd be fun.
I have had that word in my heart for several podcasts for months. Yes, we will absolutely. I mean, I as long as schedules work out, I would love to do a crossover. Hell
Absolutely.
yeah.
So it's a big fashion show. We all go shopping. I talk for 2 hours about what I'm wearing. It's good times.
Cool. You edit it. I'll put in the sound effects, and it'll be a true crossover.
Never ask me what Baphomet's wearing because I will take my time to describe it.
No, I live for that shit. So awesome. Little tease and a promise for the future for the listeners. And I don't have a cool sign off. Just thanks for hanging out with me.
No problem. Thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
And there we have it. I wanted to take the time to thank Pan once again for hanging out with me. Pan, he's such a cool dude. I love chatting with him about Starfinder, about sci-fi geek shit. Like he's a blast. We've been bonding a little bit on social media, been hanging out a lot, and this crossover idea we had at the end actually came through. Uh, the Cosmopunk podcast, we were joined by the characters Baff, Ryder, and V, and another podcast called The Sinister Shenanigans in Space, another homebrew podcast that I need to get on here to chat with, and we had a blast. However, there have been a multitude of editing woes on my part. My audio just wasn't great, and I can't really put out a crossover event with my audio being the one that's the worst, right? So while there has been a break in uh, published episodes, I do apologize for that. I am working as hard as I can to get this all out for you, and you'll be able to hear more from Bath in that. So thank you all for your patience, and I'm excited to get this crossover event out to you as soon as humanly possible. Thank you.